The entire media turned its back on us, but the response we are preparing behind the scenes is going to shock the NFL world. Our franchise has activated a secret strategy and is ready to crush the critics and make these analysts look like true clowns. How are we going to shut the whole league up and destroy this narrative? Hold on to your excitement, because I will reveal the exact plan to you shortly in the video. And our revenge has already begun on the field. Our general broke the silence and revealed a dark moment from the past that awakened a true champion mindset in him. To add to this atmosphere, our elite receiver, who was brutally disrespected and tossed out of the media rankings, just received the golden opportunity of his life to destroy defenses and reclaim his crown as the best in the league. To cap off this tense scenario, our main offensive commander has just entered his most critical contract year with an unprecedented financial and personal maneuver going on behind the scenes of the league. But pay close attention to the missing piece. The negotiations that dictate the future of our biggest star hide an absurdly dangerous secret condition, completely out of NFL standards. If this internal bet fails, it could simply implode our salary cap, and I challenge you here. I doubt your fanaticism will let you see what the true lethal risk of this ticking time bomb is. Don't forget to leave a like on this video. Optimism reigns among Washington Commanders fans and within the team before the start of the new season. As a fan who follows every move, I know this energy is different. A strong preseason washed away the bitter taste of 2025 from everyone's mouth, and there is a strong determination in the locker room to correct this mistake significantly. Still, not everyone is fully convinced of Washington's ability to bounce back. General Manager Adam Peters didn't assemble a bad roster overnight. The Commanders obviously sat back after reaching the NFC final, and injury issues haven't helped clearly either. Everything was destabilized, the team stagnated, and they paid a high price for it. The Commanders receive a ridiculous forecast for 2026 that contradicts preseason expectations. There are many unknowns for the 2026 season. New coordinators, a series of new signings, and even greater pressure on the players who were significantly part of last year's disastrous campaign. The Commanders have talent, so if the bets made in the preseason pay off and they have a bit of luck along the way, Dan Quinn's team should be much more competitive. Unfortunately, things can also clearly go the opposite way. Nick Shook from NFL.com is among those who believe there are too many unknowns surrounding the Commanders to take them seriously. He predicts Washington will finish the season with a 4-13 record. That number could be much higher, but the analyst said there are many variables that could significantly influence the final outcome. This would be disastrous in more than one sense. A campaign with 4 wins would likely mean Quinn's dismissal and Peters' seat on the hot seat. No one would be safe from an uncertain future, clearly. It would be a fresh start for the Commanders. But Shook's prediction is certainly among the most pessimistic. Something would have to go very wrong for the Commanders to finish with just 4 wins. There is a lot at stake in the roster and coaching staff for this to happen significantly. If Quinn can successfully overcome a tough start to the season before the bye week, they have a chance to make an impact in the second half of 2026. 4 victories are not a reason for much sadness, clearly. The fans, however, are optimistic, and expectations only tend to rise with the approach of the start of the preseason and training period. It would be easy for the Commanders to lament, but they rolled up their sleeves, made the necessary changes, and faced the offseason with great determination. This means nothing if they cannot become more efficient, more prepared for different game situations, more motivated, and more competitive during the regular season, considerably. But if they can, the Commanders will be a surprise that many in the league do not foresee this season. And analysts like Shook will look extremely foolish throughout the process. A lot depends on the 2026 season for the new offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders, considerably. And wide receiver Terry McLaurin is under a lot of pressure. Both will rely on quarterback Jayden Daniels, who recalls a difficult moment that awakened his inner Kobe. "I'm a big Kobe fan," Daniels said, clearly remembering the terrible arm injury he suffered against the Seahawks last season. "I've seen Kobe walk off the court with a torn Achilles tendon, so why can't I get up and walk to the locker room because of an elbow injury?" Jayden Daniels recounts that Kobe was the reason he walked off the field instead of being carried off on a stretcher after the injury, considerably. Will the Commanders thrive if quarterback Jayden Daniels is not Superman? According to Sports Illustrated, that is an important question to ask. Washington needs to figure out what kind of team it is when Daniels is healthy and does not take control of the game, clearly. Can they win when he throws for 180 yards and 1 touchdown, but does not create those 3 or 4 plays that only a few quarterbacks in the NFL can make? This is at the heart of the Commanders' challenge in 2026, considerably. And the answer lies in the roster that General Manager Adam Peters has assembled. Has he done enough to make the Commanders competitive when Daniels is not at the height of his physical form? First impressions do not seem to indicate many victories, considering Daniels' excellent performance clearly. The Commanders need to improve their defense. However, Peters has not done much to bolster the offense in terms of talent around Daniels. Yes, building a roster in the NFL is considerably difficult, but that is why general managers do not always last long in their positions. The triangle formed by head coach Dan Quinn, offensive coordinator David Blau, and Daniels will have to work in perfect harmony to give the Commanders a chance to score points consistently this season. After facing injuries and a lack of productive offense, Terry McLaurin enters the 2026 season looking to remind NFL executives, coaches, and scouts why he is one of the top 10 wide receivers in the league, considerably. McLaurin's name was mentioned only once, in lowercase at the end of the list, as he also received votes behind Alec Pierce, T. Higgins, and DK Metcalf. Despite having played only 10 games in 2025, McLaurin remains one of the best pass-catching receivers in the league, clearly, having dropped only one of his 60 passes thrown in his direction throughout the year. He remains Washington's most reliable receiver. Throughout his 7-year career, all in Washington, McLaurin has caught passes from 13 different quarterbacks and accumulated over 1,000 receiving yards in 5 seasons, considerably. McLaurin continues to be one of Washington's best. In 2024, he caught 70% of the passes thrown his way. What is an absurd number, considering it was a clear deep threat, being targeted on passes thrown, on average, more than 13 yards from the line of scrimmage. The farther away a player is targeted from, the fewer passes they should receive. That was not the case for McLaurin by any means. The question posed to voters was the 10 best players in the league, rather than who had the best season. Given the small sample size in 2025, it would be hard for anyone to defend their position based solely on last year. However, after winning the All-Pro award in 2024 and recording his 5th consecutive season with over 1,000 yards, quite clearly, he has been consistently the number 1 target for whoever is throwing passes for Washington. Before the injury-shortened season, McLaurin had 82 receptions for 1,096 yards and a franchise record of 13 touchdowns. The 2024 season earned him a spot on the second All-Pro team quite considerably, after he finally showed what he could do with stability at the quarterback position. With the start of training camp approaching, McLaurin aims to return fully recovered, but now he has a new offensive playbook to learn quite clearly. Just like McLaurin, rookie Antonio Williams was selected in the 3rd round of the draft, and he is viewed by experts across the league as someone who can make an immediate difference for Jayden Daniels. The Clemson alum averaged 11.2 yards per reception in college and scored 15 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons quite considerably. He is a fast receiver with a 4.41 second time in the 40-yard dash and agile, able to create plays after the catch. And he could often create mismatches for the opposing defense alongside Terry McLaurin playing in the slot receiver position. Now, with a completely new offense and a healthy quarterback, McLaurin is ready to return to the field quite clearly and remind voters why he remains one of the best receivers in the league. An agent is often the most important person in anyone's career in the sports and entertainment industry, quite considerably. Selected 2nd overall in the 2024 NFL Draft, Jayden Daniels had his support network formed years before signing with the commissioner. Regina Jackson, certified as an NFL agent in late July 2024, was likely the first mother of a player selected among the top 3 in the draft to obtain this certification quite clearly. The decision came after Daniels won the Heisman Trophy and was the 2nd overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. In March 2026, Pro Football Talk reported that Daniels was no longer represented by Agency One Sports Group quite considerably, making Jackson his only certified agent. Regina Jackson holds full powers as an NFLPA agent. Featured as one of the 4 characters in the last season of the Netflix series Quarterback, Daniels spoke about the different aspects of his life in which Jackson plays a clear role. First of all, she is my mother. Additionally, she is my manager and also a certified NFL agent, Daniels said. I've seen her managing various businesses and handling money quite considerably. So who better to help you manage your money and someone you can trust than your mom? Entering the 3rd year of his original rookie contract, Daniels will be able to negotiate and extend his stay in Washington at the end of the year. With all the resources provided by the NFLPA, Jackson will lead the negotiations with the front office and the owners of the Commanders quite clearly. Helping Jayden is what you expect from a mother, Jackson said. For Jackson, obtaining real estate agent certification was not an impulsive decision. With an MBA specializing in entrepreneurship, she has been preparing for this significantly since Daniels was still in college. For her, taking the test to become an agent is because she wants to be well-informed and help her son. Guiding him in his NFL career, said Denise White, a public relations specialist who works with Jayden Daniels and his family, it is important for her to have all this knowledge to be able to guide her son clearly. This will help him focus on the field, and she can help him focus off of it. Jackson is not the first family member to lead the representation and negotiations of an NFL player. It is known that Lamar Jackson opted not to have an agent and sought advice from his mother, Felicia Jones, before significantly renewing his contract with the Ravens in 2023. So, fan, after discovering how the Commanders prepared to make their detractors look foolish despite Nick Shook's pessimistic prediction, understanding how Jaden Daniels recalls a difficult moment that revealed his inner Kobe, knowing that Terry McLaurin is getting a golden opportunity to remind everyone of his elite status, and discovering that Jaden Daniels is starting his last contract year with his mother, Regina Jackson, as his only agent in the NFL. Which of these situations leaves you most hopeful? Do you believe that the Commanders will be able to overcome the pessimistic prediction of 4 wins and return to the playoffs, or will Nick Shook be right in his analysis? And more importantly, do you trust that Jaden Daniels will be able to stay healthy, that Terry McLaurin will be able to regain his elite status, and that Regina Jackson will be able to negotiate a favorable contract extension for her son? Or are we doomed to see the team struggle through another disappointing season? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think about the future of the Washington Commanders.